Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Gen Talks. I'm Emiliano. This is Mitchell, and today we're talking about running a six-figure business while in college. So before we really get started on how we got into building that six-figure business in college and how we managed it, first I want to talk about our journey into getting to that six-figure business. Now, Mitch and I were in high school during our junior year. We actually started flipping Instagram pages. That was our first ever, I would say, really successful business venture. From there, our senior year in high school, we went into selling on eBay, eBay flipping and eBay drop shipping. From there, once we were making about $3K a month, we started transitioning over to selling on Amazon. And once we were in college, we had to fully focus on just selling on Amazon and really scaling that to six figures.
Now, when it comes to college, obviously grades are super important because I'm assuming if you're watching, it doesn't matter what grade you're in, maybe you're already a graduate. But if you think about the time when you were actually in college, you can probably remember your parents were constantly on your case about how are your grades? Are you studying? Are you going to be a doctor? Well, what do you want to do? And it becomes very stressful. And the reality is that many people end up really focusing on grades, and this forces them to, in a sense, forget other more important parts of their life. So with me personally, my grades absolutely tanked when I started going to college because first off, I was focused again, as Emiliano mentioned, we really started focusing on our Amazon business, which at first was time consuming and it was the priority. We were outsourcing, we were creating a team. We had another consultant business that we were managing on the side, which had many clients. And at this point, the classes that I was taking in school along with their grades were not as important as the businesses themselves. And this forced my grades to become really volatile. They would go up, sometimes they would go down, but they would usually go down much more than up. And the reality is that if you are currently in college or high school and you're running a business and you have good grades, well, then that is horrible for your business, and your business is probably failing because you're more focused on school rather than your business. And that is just a great recipe for a business to not do well long term.
Now, a large part of Mitch and I managing our business in college was actually managing our time. Well, what does this mean? Well, we couldn't necessarily go out to parties like all the other cool college kids at the time. We'd have to stay indoors, work on our business instead of going out and just really put in the work towards, the future that we're building in our companies. Mitch and I cut out all the activities we did in college unless they were income producing, and really just had to give up weekends and spending time with our friends in order to build our business to the six-figure mark and beyond. And at the core of this, what we really had to do is we had to prioritize the long term compared to the short term. We had to sacrifice short-term fun for long-term growth. We had to think not like 1, 2, 3 weeks or even years out. We had to think anywhere from the range of 5 to 10 years out and how we're going to get to where we want to get in the future. And if that means sacrificing time with your friends today or sacrificing our college experience, it's just we had to make that sacrifice, and we think it's well worth it to where we are today and where we expect to be in the next 5 to 10 years, and where we're building to.
Now let's go ahead and dive into the current reality of today's education system. And if you really think about it, the school system is outdated now. Emiliano and I follow the philosophy called DELTS, which is unless you're a doctor, engineer, lawyer, teacher, scientist, or unless you want to be one of those 5, well, then school isn't really meant for you, and quote unquote, you don't really need to go to school. Now, Emiliano dropped out. I personally still go to school. The reason behind that is because I meet a lot of great people through college, and it just allows me to really expand my network, which not only helps out with my business, but any of my future ventures down the road. Now, again, unless you look at the DELTS philosophy and you want to go into one of those 5 careers, then in a sense, you don't really need school, because if you don't want to go into any of those, well, then there are a lot of things that you can be self-educating yourself about, literally just using Google or YouTube. For example, with us, e-commerce or how we leverage credit, not only in e-commerce, but to trial for free. School never taught us any of that. I once went to like a 30-minute presentation about credit. They taught me stuff that I found on Google within 5 minutes, but like the real deep, best valuable stuff about credit, such as intro offers, leveraging them, balance transfers, how to maximize your points, how to use them. Well, you'll only be able to find that on YouTube channels that are of people that know what they talk about within the whole finance sphere. Aside from that, you want to use college as a means of figuring out what your skill is, because again, you'll be taking a lot of classes, but don't just rely off of the classes you're taking, because your time outside of the class is much more valuable than you actually think. While you're taking these classes and you're meeting people, you're getting all of these different insights and perspective from different teachers, professors, other students. One of the best learning techniques is literally just going on YouTube, searching up something you're curious about and watching videos about that. And a lot of people really underestimate today's power of YouTube because you can literally search anything up and you'll get an answer to it. You will get an in-depth understanding of it. While with college, we're following a system that was still in place, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and it's not changing. And this further shows that a lot of people in today's world, after college, they try to get a job. Maybe during college or high school, they're trying to get an internship, and they're not able to because a lot of what these jobs are asking for, either the students didn't actually learn it in college, or there's just a lot of competition. And especially when it comes to college, the name of the school is really important, and the majority of people don't go to really high up known or high level colleges, and that forces people to not really be able to get good opportunities following college, and it just takes them much more time to achieve that financial success. So in general, it is really hard to run a six-figure business outside of school because if you're going to do that, you need to sacrifice a lot, such as your grades. And yes, while that may anger your parents, well, then you need to put that aside because maybe you want to be a business owner, but no one in your family is a business owner. So you shouldn't really be taking advice from people unless they are successful business owners. So yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe, comment what you thought about this video. Again, our Instagrams are down in the description below. If you have any questions or would like to communicate and network with us, again, go ahead and message us. And yeah, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Adios.